I'm a Canadian. Outside Canada, I carry the flag. Canadian nationalism isn't as insidious as American nationalism, though. It's good-natured. It's all about maple syrup, not war.
If a Canadian falls in the forest and no one is around, does he really say, "Sorry"? Anonymous.
Canadians are an interesting group. One minute they're peacekeepers, next minute they punch the hell out of each other on the ice rink. Can't we well?
Good morning. My name is Cameron Scott, and I'm a sixth form day student from Porters Lake, Nova Scotia, Canada. Noticed a few confused faces out there, so I'm glad to see I have a couple listeners today. No, I'm not a day student, just a guy who loves sarcasm. Sometimes a little too much. Believe it or not, I'm not here to talk about sarcasm or about the greatest country in the world and how it shaped me into who I am today. I'd rather give a little bit of credit to one of the angels it has produced. I'm here today to tell a story about my mother, Barb Scott. I'm sure that all of you here today would be able to say some great things about your mother if I asked you to. I'm just going to tell you something about mine without being asked. For most of you, December 11th is just one of the 365 X's you cross off on the calendar. But for me, this day holds a much deeper meaning. 2015, I drove home from school like every other Friday, but to an empty house. Well, me and my grandfather, of course. See, my parents took both my grandparents in to live with us for the final 5 years of their lives. That year, only my Papa Jake still lived with us. Parents must be at work, I thought. So I went to my room and relaxed for the afternoon. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5, 6. Not until 7 did I think, this doesn't seem right. I should give them a call. First called my mom, and straight to voicemail. Tried Dad, nothing. Minutes later he called me and explained in less than stellar detail how she was hit by a car near the Superstore parking lot. Thank God he didn't tell me the truth. My dad only told me that my mom would be fine and was spending the night in hospital to be safe. So I didn't think anything of it. Went to practice and did my routine like it was any other night, which I know now sounds bad, but he sold it to me as if a car had just bumped into her and she had a bruise. This wasn't quite the case. With Dad's constant reassurance of her health and my hectic schedule, the first few days without speaking to Mom passed by in the blink of an eye. But Dad assured me she would be fine and was just taking extra precautions. See, what he didn't tell me was that she was hit in a busy crosswalk near the entrance to the Superstore parking lot. Near the parking lot, so in the street. This accident would have killed most people. I am a Catholic, but I don't thank God for saving her life like most people do. It's just who she is. Turns out that it wasn't such a small bump after all. She suffered a traumatic brain injury with bleeding and swelling of 75% of her brain, a fractured skull, severe nerve damage to her left eye, and excessive bruising everywhere from her face to her legs. So when I saw her the morning of the 11th, she was regular Mom. She probably told me to go brush my teeth and wash my face before school. I probably rolled my eyes and said, "Sure thing, Mom, I'm not 5, remember." But in those first 8 weeks after the accident, where I had minimal contact with her, and the months after where she was just not the same, I only wished I would wake up and have her tell me to clean my room or take out the compost. See, it's the little things in life we tend to overlook. For instance, her weekly reminder every Friday morning that the weekend is surely around the bend, which I understand here doesn't mean a whole lot with Saturday classes. So when I visited her in the hospital for the first time, I walked down the same halls and traveled up the same elevators I did days before to visit her, treating those who laid in the same bed she now laid in. But what I saw wasn't my mother. Truthfully, I didn't recognize the person asleep on the hospital bed in front of me. Battered and bruised, she seemed helpless. The whole situation finally began to feel like real life, and it was terrifying. She did not speak, or move, or do anything remotely human. But I continued to visit whenever the doctors would allow, and there was no progress. To say something about her personality, when she was at her worst, but able to talk and control her balance to walk to the bathroom, she threatened to leave, constantly. Believe it or not, the nurses had to lock the doors to the hospital wing because she was a risk to escape. She was not remotely close to being anywhere except the 24-hour surveillance she was under, but she believed she had to be home, taking care of her family. Weeks later, she then saved her own life. She became sick. The nurses thought it was the flu and ignored it. Days passed and she became much more sick. I am in the best hospital in the Maritimes. I should not be sick. Look at my scans one more time, she finally demanded. Minutes later, she was rushed into emergency brain surgery to remove a severe hydrocephalus that occupied her brain. It was her adamant personality that saved her life. So if we want to talk about what kind of nurse she was pre-accident, my mom worked as a public health nurse in that same hospital, emergency room, and the jail. And then to fulfill her love for nursing, she started her own foot care business as a foot care nurse that she ran out of our home, working 60 to 70 hours a week in order to give me opportunities such as attending Westminster. She loved being a nurse. You know that 70-year-old nurse that stabs you in the arm with a needle once a year? Yeah, that would have been her. But she would have done it with a smile. In university, my mom played field hockey for St. Mary's University, the one in Canada. And after graduating, she spent 3 years on the West Coast working at the Chateau Whistler and always making time for skiing. So she assures me she was one of the cool kids growing up, but I find that rather hard to believe. Now, she most likely will never work, taste, or smell again. But you won't hear that from her. She always finds a way to turn the positive out of every situation. She currently attends pool therapy and boot camp at a nearby gym 5 or more times a week. Not bad for someone that only 2 years ago had to teach herself to walk, talk, and do all of life's daily routines again. You will never hear an excuse from her. Well, unless of course it's why she's on her phone throughout the duration of every family movie, ever. If we want to look back on where I got my sarcastic behavior from, we won't find it within her. My mom has taught me independence, how to be strong, and how to never give up until that final whistle blows. Sarcastic trait, well, that comes from Dad. Yes, I love you too, but this day's about Mom, so just... For example, when Mom makes an annoying comment or joke, she may often follow it up with, "Well, you must wish I was dead right now." And his reply, of course, is, "Well, if I wanted that, I would have pushed you into a bigger car." You're welcome. This artificial humor is a great way to ease tension or pressure while dealing with this very difficult topic. For months, Dad kept all the information inside to himself and spoke to no one. And there was a long period of time when he, along with the doctors, truly believed she was on the way out. The strength it took for him to get through those weeks, months, years, and even now still with PTSD is unfathomable. For that, I would like to say thank you for being my role model and my hero. So nowadays, running into my parents is full of conversation and happiness like it always was. You would never know any of these events ever took place. They are still the craziest people I know, driving 12 hours back and forth for every single hockey game I play. They have already begun to organize their lives for next year, wherever I end up. When I was 10 years old, the city newspaper advertised a contest put on by the Halifax Mooseheads local hockey team. As a team, the goal was to cut out newspaper clippings of the contest, and at the end of the month, the team with the most clippings would receive skybox tickets to a game and custom alternate jerseys with their names on them. Mom was most definitely going to find a way to have us win. Along with a few other slightly insane hockey moms, she would wake up at 6 a.m. or earlier to go search through town garbage dumpsters for ads that had not already been cut out. Of course, we ended up winning this contest. Truthfully, I don't know if the game was worth my mom's dumpster diving, but the stories I've heard definitely were, without a doubt. I don't ask for any of this, but I am truly grateful for the love my parents share with me. If I can just take a pinch of either one of their personalities, I think I will end up just fine in life. Thank you.